Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Satanist Podcast, the one-stop shop for all your vegan needs. What can you expect on this podcast going forward? Probably some really in-depth discussions with my fellow vegans on their areas of expertise. We're going to look at lots of good stuff. The person laughing right now is Ellie Fleming, also known as Vegan Gaze. Thank you for joining me, Ellie.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and I feel so important to be on your first one. I'm guessing it's because I was like the only person who'd agree to do it. Is that why?
That was partially it. I also knew you had a microphone that was of decent quality, so
Oh,
there's
well,
that.
yeah.
Now, obviously, before starting this, inviting you, I didn't really know who you were, so I just did some research on who you are, what you're known for and stuff, but I don't really want to repeat on this podcast what I learned, to be honest with you.
Why? Because was it just horrible?
It's just, like, I don't want this podcast to get banned on the first episode, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. I thought I was wholesome, but there you go.
Well, you give this demeanour, you know, like I've watched your videos and you seem fine and like a normal, funny kind of person, you know. But there's just this dark underbelly to you that the world just doesn't know about. I don't know if you want to address any of those rumours or.
I feel as if I shouldn't address any of these rumours, and I should just let people look for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Kelly. This is the big question. The whole reason I started the podcast, really. What's your view on tempeh?
My view on tempeh.
Yeah, have you had it?
I've only had it twice. I did it as I don't think I did,
Did it as a deer?
Did it as a deer? Yeah, one time back of the sheds. No, I had these tempeh ribs from Sainsbury's not too long ago, and they were so good. So I'm a tempeh fan.
Okay. I had my first tempeh experience today, Ellie. See, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, how did it go?
I don't get the hype.
It's the texture is obscure, but when it's cooked properly, it's actually really good.
I think that was the problem. I did get it from a takeaway place, so I thought, they've bigged it up, they've done what they need to do to make it delicious. But
yeah,
it was
magic.
It was just okay, It was nothing okay. Special. Yeah.
I do prefer tofu. Like a scrambled tofu is the way to go for me.
I am a tofu boy myself. Yeah.
You definitely are a soy boy. You give off incredible soy boy vibes for sure.
The phytoestrogen exudes from my pores.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that to be a thing. Just chowing down on the soy, thinking it might help some growth, but no, nothing's happening.
It's funny, isn't it? You don't see many people trying to transition to female, gulping down tons of soy.
No, it's almost as if it's just made up.
It's funny as well, cow's milk has got to be full of it.
Yeah, actual estrogen.
Actual estrogen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think eggs is one of the most estrogen-filled food items you can have, actually.
I mean, you'd imagine, the ovulation of an individual to be quite estrogenic.
It's quite a female thing to do to ovulate, right?
Typically.
Yeah.
It just comes right out there. Just the source of estrogen. This is why I have to make memes, you see, because just remembering that people say these things and they say them with confidence just hurts my feelings.
So that's one of my questions for you, What pisses you off the most about putting yourself out there?
Oh, God, so many things. What you mean, the way people will react? What they'll say?
You're a YouTuber. You're one of these pesky militant vegans. Always, you got to shove it down people's throat. You can't just let people live, let live.
Not at all.
So that's your choice, right? So what do you dislike the most about that lifestyle?
I think it's probably the kind of, how you have an idea about who you are, and obviously you have no control over how other people
really handsome
see you.
Man. Yeah. Okay.
You're talking about me. I was like, thank you. But no, you have an idea about who you are, and you can't control, obviously, how other people see you. So when people see me and they seem to think that I'm this horrible, ill-meaning person, or I don't care,
Yeah.
Like that pisses me off because it's like I know I do.
People
but
say that?
Again, it's what's that?
I'm acting surprised that people would think that.
Well, yeah, that happens quite a lot. I think it's defense mechanism because they think, oh god, if you care about animals, then you don't care about humans because like perish the thought that you'd be able to care about more than one individual once. But no, I don't like it when people think I just don't care at all, or that I'm like ill-meaning or whatever. Like I can deal with like criticisms of like, oh, you're condescending, you're these things, because I know I am. It's just I can't help it. But if someone's like, you're actually hateful, or they like say I'm some sort of ism that I'm not, or or they tell me what I believe, that annoys me. So yeah.
So have you got an example sticking out in your mind right now? Are you thinking of a certain person or?
Well, someone not long ago called me homophobic, and I was just so pissed off. I even like told them I'm a lesbian. They're like, yeah, but you're still like
you're one
still
of those self-hating
affected
lesbians.
by self. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm literally not. I know how I feel about like I know how I feel, so that like annoys me. Or yeah, just people like, oh, like recently, like that guy who was like that I'm money oriented and stuff like that. Like I really don't like it when non-vegans especially act as if like you've got all this money and stuff. It's like that you're so rich because you're vegan, and it's like if I had like money, like notes to wipe my tears away while people were saying this would make the entire experience better, but I actually don't. So like that annoys me as well.
So what do you think there? You know, a lot of people do say that going vegan is like a privileged stance because it costs more money. And then a lot of vegans chime back with, yeah, well, you know, plants are cheaper. Rice is the cheapest ingredient, food calorie per penny. And things like that. You know, what's your stance on this? Is going vegan more expensive or?
No, it's not. Like, for God's sake. Like, I was looking at, I'm doing this thing with medieval memes. I really like the medieval paintings, and I saw a medieval meme, and it was Henry VIII, and it said, oh, we had vegetarians back in the day and we called them peasants. And that's like true though, because like the way like meat like not even that long ago, a couple of 100 years ago, was seen as this kind of luxury item, that only the rich, the bourgeois, could afford to have. And like that's the whole like the whole idea behind Sunday roast, I believe. It's like on a Sunday, because it's like the Lord's Day. You gather all your your carbohydrates, all your cheap stuff, and then you get your meat, and then you enjoy that, and then the rest of the time you're eating your carbohydrates and your cheaper stuff. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's the idea behind it, because families couldn't afford to eat animal products. They're just way more expensive. And the thing is, even if you think, oh yeah, but all these like cheap like chicken nuggets and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, but you are paying a hidden tax behind that. Like if the subsidies weren't there, they
excellent
would not...
topic to transition into, by the way. That's a really, like, I think for every vegan really, but that's something like I hold with a lot of contempt, that I've never paid taxes in the UK, I'm not gonna lie, but
I mean, you do though, because you pay anytime you
VAT.
Purchase so except like I think nappies and now maybe tampons, like, so you are paying for it.
No, fair point.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like income tax.
Yeah, so we're paying through taxes for other people to consume animals, something that we strongly stand against. Even if you take veganism out of the equation, you've got like Muslims and Jewish people who don't consume pigs. You've got, I think Hindus don't consume cows. And yet they're paying for it to happen. So you're almost forcing these people to break the rules of their religion. And you're forcing us to break our belief systems.
It is messed up. And that these are the forcing things, because, like if we're telling you our opinion online, you can just block us. Yeah. But we can't not pay VAT on stuff. No. You can avoid income tax by like earnings and whatever, or expenses, but like if you earn a certain amount, then you can't, otherwise you go to prison. Well, some do, the rich don't.
No,
but that's
very
another topic.
Yeah. So recently, I think I'm gonna hazard a guess, around 8 months ago, you went by Flemface, right? That's about accurate.
Yeah.
And now you're going by Vegan Gaze.
About
so,
that.
yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Explain what is going on.
It was kind of like a joke, actually, like with my ex. I think Vegan Gains was on, and we were both like, huh, more like Vegan Gays.
Okay.
Just because we're gay, so everything's gay. And I was like, hang on, I've been meaning to change my name because the phlegm face it doesn't tell people what it is. It's too much of an in-joke. It's too, personalized. I need something vegan, but I couldn't find anything that worked. And I thought that would work really well because obviously to gaze is to like look lovingly.
Yeah.
And I feel like I do everything, though it's just may not appear as such. I do everything from a loving place. That's like where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. Even if I'm like annoyed at someone, I'm doing it in like the way a mother will scold a child kind of way.
Okay.
So I thought, I think that does it really well. Ties in really well.
It's pretty good.
To what I'm trying to do.
Good sort of a play on words. And
yeah.
Is it fair to say that most of your content you're making for a vegan audience?
Yeah, I understand on YouTube that it's a bit of a circle jerk, so
sure. I
decided instead of doing the really hard, impossible task that I can't seem to do on my channel of like really getting out there, I'll just make content for vegans. Just accept that, they are the people seeing it. So unless I'm like trying to reach someone like recently, like someone like D'Angelo Wallace, I will hit a few of his audience members, not loads, but I will hit a few, so I will pander to them while talking about it. But for the most part, a lot of the time you'll see content and you're aware it's only vegans watching it.
It's interesting you say that, because yes, you're right. Like I would say like your meme videos and stuff is a bit of a circle jerk. Yeah, sure. But what got me to go from vegetarian to vegan was vegan circle jerk on Reddit.
Yeah.
And seeing them shit all over vegetarians and thinking, oh, damn, they're right.
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. So I do know that non-vegans are watching my content. I don't want to just say the only people watching my content are going to be vegans. But I thought I would switch it around instead of being, this is why you should be vegan. I wanted to switch it to, isn't it silly that people aren't vegan? That kind of rhetoric instead, and then people could enjoy that.
Absolutely. And it's cathartic at the end of the day too. It's
Needed.
hard work. Yeah, it's hard work. You want to comment sections are the worst, as we all know. And it really takes it out of me sometimes, just seeing the same thing over and over. Plants feel pain, how do you know that animals feel pain? Morality is subjective, and it just grates and grates and grates you. Because none of these people are fighting in good faith, they don't want to. They don't actually care. And for some reason, I answer every single time, and it brings me right down. But then, Vegan Gaze uploads a video. I watch it. Like cheers me up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it gives me a bit more.
You're gonna like my meme that will be coming up about like not being able to leave a comment section. But yeah, I know what you mean, 100%. And that's the aim. I just want to like. That's why the whole like I find that if you just own it, and that's what I like about like vegan circle jerk, that it does the same sort of thing that I do, where it's like, oh, people are saying I'm deficient, instead of being like, no, I'm not, I'll just be like, yeah, clearly I am then. I am, yeah, the deficiency. I'll brand my entire channel around having a deficiency. So why not? I think that's just kind of the best way to do it. I think they can't get you then. And a point that I was going to reference, and I think it was you who said it, was how you always feel kind of like you're being gaslit by non-vegans. So I think it's really important to just be someone who comes along with such confidence and reminds people, no, plants don't feel pain. No, because you do feel like you're going a bit balmy. You really do.
Like, there's like, what, probably like 1% of the planet is vegan. I don't know the actual statistics there. But like, when most people in the world are telling you that, you know, you're wrong because killing animals is fine, you know, I feel like there's something wrong with my head sometimes, you know. Just a split-second moment. Like, what's wrong with me? Why do I think this is wrong and everyone else thinks it's fine? So I, you know, when I thought, you know, I feel like I'm being gaslit, I was like, I can't tell anyone else I feel like that. Which is stupid, to be honest. But, like, what if I brought up with other vegan friends that I felt that way? I didn't know what the reaction was going to be, so I kept it to myself for a long time.
Well, that's why I think there's there's value to having, you know, content creators who you can just go to, definitely, because then it's like, what was I thinking? Like, I really let these weirdos get to my head. And it's just a sign of a good brain when, you know, you're like, wait, am I actually like weird for thinking these things? So it's like, you know, it's good to have those moments of, hang on, am I getting this right? For sure, because you don't want to be constantly like, oh yeah, I'm definitely right. Nothing weird's going on.
That's
here.
true.
No, I don't.
You have got to be able to reflect. Like, sometimes I do look at sort of claims that I make, and I think, okay, where have I got that information? Like, am I sure that that's right? Certain like nutrition facts and things like that. Like, that's not my background. If it's about film or about teaching English, like, I'm on it. But when it comes to nutrition, I've heard it many places, many different outreach videos and things, so I say it. So I sometimes think like, oh, well, actually, is that true? So I look it up, and you know what, like, it is. Like 99% of the time, and that other 1%, maybe it's just been exaggerated a little bit. So it just goes back to that gaslighting, I think. Like, I don't even trust some of the stuff I think, but like you say, it's a good thing to reflect on what you're thinking.
100%, yeah. And like, just a constant stream of it, people telling you, you know, oh, you're attacking and stuff like that. And I do check, like, but you find that a lot of the time, people's language, the way they're communicating, is loaded with emotion.
Oh yeah.
It's very emotively driven. So they'll regard something you do an attack when they wouldn't see it from someone else who does something that they agree with. You know, you got to see like what place they're coming from, and the place they're coming from, if they don't like somebody, is very uncharitable. Like, there was somebody who I was talking to, and you know, they watch my content and everything, and they're super lovely, but it seems like they were using terms for someone they didn't seem to like, saying that they were attacking people. And I challenged that because I thought, well, I do the exact same thing, just with a different topic. So am I attacking people? And they didn't answer, but I don't think they think I attack people. So it's like, is this thing at all an attack? You know, just to like make videos about people and challenge them to debates. That's what I do. And if people like are all cocky and then refuse, then I say that they're like cucking away, or they're scared. Like, and it's like you scared? But I don't think that's an attack. I think that's, you know, pretty. It could be rude, or it could be like just somewhat unnecessary, or excessive maybe. But I don't think it's an attack in any way, shape, or form.
It's definitely a term that's over-exaggerated.
It really is. Attack's a very it's a very strong term for something that's just really not. But
just going back to what you said, I mean, I think we do have this inbuilt bias. Not just vegans. I mean, everybody does.
Everybody,
like,
absolutely.
You're not supposed to challenge what you believe. I think there's something innate in that. You're really not supposed to. I'm not sure what the evolutionary purpose of that is.
Well, that would get you dead, probably. I mean, like, if evolution is sorting everything out for you, nature's sorting everything out for you, then you as a free agent shouldn't need to challenge it. So, if you're like, maybe I could eat this berry that's not the colour that I'm typically predisposed to look at, and it's poisonous and kills you. So I guess that's why.
So it's like, I shouldn't eat the red berry. I've never looked into it, and maybe this strawberry's okay. But I just have to believe all red berries are bad because some of them will kill me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good... Do you know that, or is that like an idea?
No, I'm just guessing.
You're just bullshitting, mate. All right.
Yeah, I'm splurging and hoping something comes out.
Spitting lies, mate.
But no, like, to challenge, typically, like, if you look at it in a kind of natural way, though it would lead to evolutionary adaptations in some forms, I think, like, with, like, cooking vegetables and starches and stuff like that, for the most part, I think it gets you killed. Like, how many human beings have existed who had to do the first kind of test? Like, when you, like, open up a book of, like, mushrooms or berries and it says not edible, extremely poisonous. It's like, who had to die for that to be found out? Like, bless them. Like, all these people, it's like, this book's just telling me lots of people have died. Like, that's all it's telling me.
So do you have a book full of mushrooms then?
No, I don't.
Do you want one?
To. Yeah, go
You
on.
used to? Yeah. What happened? That sounds like a good story to include on the
podcast.
I don't remember. So, just going back to, like, these comments, should we even be replying to these comments? What do you think?
Yeah, well, if they actually are a troll, then maybe not. There are some who just clearly want my attention.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, this isn't about the message. This is just you wanting my attention. And I'm not your mother, so I'm not going to give it to you. Like, go find, just do what normal people do and, like, make a conversation with somebody, like, normally. Like, so I guess it's like, you first have to look at the definition of your definition of troll and what what is categorized under that. Because if it's just someone who's coming along and, like, being like, you're wrong, which for some people it literally is, like, you're it's like, nah, I don't think that's a troll. But if they genuinely are a troll, then I'd say just, like, arbitrarily just get rid of them or don't respond, because they are just kind of looking for affirmation. And I'd rather give my attention to people who are actually working to do it in a good way.
Absolutely. I do see some exception to this, though. Like, I think if somebody's being genuine, really, they don't have that knowledge. Like, I didn't know a lot of this stuff going back a couple of years. I will answer them, even if I think,
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it might be a troll. I think it's worth it sometimes. And then if somebody's trolling, but they're a pro. So, someone was telling me today that they're a farmer and their cows don't need to get pregnant to produce milk, right? And I was like, fuck you. But I was like, I can't just leave that there because somebody might read it and believe it because he's supposedly a farmer. He would know more than me. So I had to reply to that. And I had to say, like, wow, like the entire dairy industry say themselves. And I, like, gave them a link. I was like, watch my video, let's talk about dairy. I've sourced everything and most of it was from farmers, and so on. I knew they were trolling. I knew they were trying to get me angry, but I just didn't want people to... That's actual harmful trolling, that could cause someone to not think drinking milk is so bad.
Yeah, you get them a lot. You get, like, my friend died taking, like, advice. It's just like, no, they didn't. You don't have friends. That's why you're here. Like... No, you like just go away. Like, that didn't happen. And, like, like, it's not veganism. It's like you find out it's like severe calorie restriction, or they went on a fast, or they did, like, it's like you could be a non-vegan and fast. So it's like, but yeah, I engage with a lot of them. There are some of them that so usually I stop engaging if they incessantly send comments. Like, I got a few who just send loads of comments and they act as if I'm scared of, like, talking to them. But if I've offered them a debate and they say they'll do it, or they've given me really bad evidence and I'm waiting on good evidence. Like, there's one who sticks out, and I said debate me and everything, but they came up with all these excuses for why they didn't want to. They said, oh, I don't want my name being seen, or, like, it's like that wouldn't happen. And they finally gave me some evidence, because I was looking for some evidence that meat was a biological requirement, and it was an article and the from a magazine, and the first line disagreed with them. So it was just like, okay, well, that's not actually evidence, is it? So I'm waiting on them, but they still like incessantly reply like over and over, and I'm like, they're like, you scared, and saying all this stuff. I'm just like, I will engage with you once, one, you give me the evidence, or you voice debate me. Until then, I'll see you. If they won't, then that's it. Because I'm showing, I'm happy to go through all of this, but I'm not interested, especially like loads of them are on TikTok. It's got an extreme character limit. They all speak the same, so it ends up getting confused who believes what. So I want them in a voice debate, so I can find out exactly what it is they believe, so I can then go after that position. I'm not interested in it, like this back and forth, all these different threads. I'd rather just and they don't want to do it, and it's just like, right, you're telling me there either you are 12, so I shouldn't really be engaging with you anyway, so thank you for letting me know. I don't want to be like telling kids what to do, or they're not confident in their position, so it's like, well, see you in a few years when you're vegan, mate. Or they're just like a troll, and they're not interested. They just want to like comment spam.
I suppose as a content creator as well, like your time is better spent creating content that people will see. So that comment that, I don't know, let's say 10 people see passing by, versus a video of yours that gets a few hundred views, for example. That's how your time is better spent. Why would you spend these hours going through comments, which I do?
I know, like, I don't like the... Once I was like sat down with my ex, and she said, you've been looking at your phone for 2 hours. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, like you've like been completely zoned out, and it was because I was like fighting people on the internet. So it's like, I don't really want to be spending my time doing that. I don't want to be giving people my attention if they're like, a lot of the time they're saying kind of rude, nasty things about you. So it's like, I don't want to give them that. But if they want to come and like actually talk to me, then I'm so down for that. Like that's fine, and we can find out. Because a lot of the time when you get them in an actual chat, then you can kind of connect better, and they can see where you're coming from. This has happened to me. It started like someone's like, oh, you're a stupid cuck and all of this shit.
And then I'll actually start talking to them. I don't respond to the name calling stuff, I just answer to their point. And then once I've done that, they're polite again.
Yeah, true. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you just answer it without, say they're coming, they're like, you're this and this and this, and you go, well, actually, this is this, and you don't like personalize it in any real way.
Yeah.
They let their guard down. But if you like match them, like you start saying things, then the like their need to defend themselves kicks in heavy.
Yeah.
So then they can't let it go. But if you kind of make it like, oh, I've just ignored every bad thing you've said to me, so I would have no problem with you letting your guard down and just like acting normal again, then they're more inclined to just let it go, and
giving them a free pass to act normal.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, I'll just pretend I didn't see that, like, and that really, that does work, to just get them to chill out. Because there are people who I have seen in my comment section from years ago who used to give me absolute, like, hell, who suddenly have come back, and suddenly they're my best mate, and they're vegan, and so it's like,
oh, wow.
I think I recognise you.
Did they ever say that you're maybe a part of that made them change?
I don't hear about it very much. I've heard it from a few friends, and I hear some people who are in my audience typically say that I was part of the push and stuff. And,
oh, wow.
But I don't. You won't hear about the majority of them.
Yeah.
I've found. Like, I'm very like, I want to make people feel loved for the most part, except you, because you're just awful.
Fair.
Just need to. Yeah. But even I don't like really let people know about the effect they've had on me. I just don't think to do it. It's just something that I know.
Yeah, you're right. There are ways in my life I've changed for the better, if you can believe that.
Oh my God.
And maybe it's because
there was a worse race. It was hell with race.
Yeah.
And now it's peace with race.
But
can I just say, like, you weren't in my You weren't in my audience the other day, and someone said peace without Reese.
So yeah, there are ways in my life that I've changed, and a lot of the time it's because I've seen someone else model that behavior, and I thought, oh, actually, like, that's way better than the way I'm doing things. Or, this person, it's usually like some small personality trait where I'm like, maybe it's like something I don't like about myself and I'm trying to find a way to improve, and I'll see someone else do it. I don't tell the person. Or, no. Well, maybe occasionally, but I very rarely tell the person, I do this now because of you. Or take it something simple like cooking. I cook this way now. I cook my tofu in this style because I saw you made a video on it. I've never told that person.
No, exactly. And it's like, I saw this... So when I'd go to the cinema, I thought this wasn't a common thing, but I saw a meme about it, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe everyone feels this way. It's like this picture of this guy like coming out of the cinema looking all like happy, and it was like me getting ready to model my personality around the protagonist for the next week. And it's like, actually, that's a point. If you do something and you do it with conviction, with style, in a way that's very full of character, people do want to replicate that behavior, and that's when it's in film, when it's in music, anything. If you do it well, and you do it in a way that can be respected, so with conviction, then people are gonna try and replicate that for sure. So we do have an influence. We just have to be cool about it, and then
absolutely.
people,
So even being a good example of a vegan, for example, just taking it back to that, you could say that was activism in itself, in a way. Like at the moment, I want to get fit. I don't give a shit how I look, but I want to get fit, and I want to wear a t-shirt that says vegan. So when people see me, they're like, "Oh wow, he looks like that because he's vegan."
That's
pecs. Exactly. That's a very passive way to advocate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you do something in a cool way, and I just, there's so many things that I've looked at someone and thought, wow, they're so cool, I want to do that, or I really like it's happening all the time. You're always being influenced by people. So what you put out there is like massive, because it is going to probably influence somebody in some way, even if it's like negatively or the other way. Yeah, that's why it's important to just put it out there.
So you said negatively then. I wonder if that's something we could harness. Like, we could pretend to be a couple of dairy farmers and just be absolute shits online. What do you reckon? That's good activism, right?
But we'd be them then. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'd rather, like, if it's clearly a parody, clearly a joke, then like I'd say that's really funny and do that. But I'd rather just show what they do in a kind of
the truth is good enough. That's why we keep having to remind ourselves.
It's just like that in itself is just horrible. So we don't really need to emphasize, we don't need to do anything. Like, actually putting it bluntly is even like worse. And like that's why I kind of like mix it in with humor, because it's like then I just to remind you, we were talking about this like some other time where we're saying that like if someone who's like usually just like the village joker suddenly becomes serious, it's like, what's happened? Do you know what I mean? Like something bad has happened. So if I'm just like squawking and making silly faces and joking with you about Nooch, and then suddenly I'm like getting annoyed and upset at somebody or something, it's like, well, this must be something to get serious about. Maybe it's very like with something like humor or comedy, it's very cultural, and here in the UK we're very blunt, sarcastic, like we do things quite like that, so maybe it's skewing. But most of my audience, I don't know about you, but are American, so
mine are, but like by 10%.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's not like a massive. Well, no, actually, it's like 50% American or something.
Okay.
So when you compare everything else, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So.
And the sort of dry humor doesn't always translate over there.
No, they're like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
I saw a comment, maybe you put it on Twitter or something. It was somebody saying something like, I don't think you're being serious because you're usually not. So I'm just going to nod and laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult as well because you find like I have some people in my audience who are autistic, and so certain parts of the spectrum mean that they can't like they can't gauge like sarcasm.
Yeah.
As well, you know, so it's like they have to assume I must be a nightmare for them. They're like, well, she's told me that she's just like ridiculous and she doesn't mean anything she says, so I'm just going to assume that she's
the parts I like, that's where she's being serious. The parts where I hate her.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that like you have to deal with that. Like just trying to work out whether or not I'm actually saying yes, kill pigs. So that's the thing. Like, again, it's a bit annoying, but it's a good. You know how we were talking about, it's really annoying that people can perceive you in a way that you don't wish to be perceived. Yeah. At the same time, there's just going to simply be people who just, because of a different upbringing or, you know, a different style of like cognition or thinking, they're going to see you very differently no matter what. And that's fine. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
So you really can't control for that because not everyone's in your head. As in, like, no one's in your head. Even you, half the time, are not in your head.
That's an excellent point, and that's why we need advocates from all walks of life, you know? We need rich advocates, we need poor, we need fat, thin, muscly.
Mm-hmm. Because, you know, the experience of someone in America and the way that they operate is going to be very different from how we operate. Well, you know, how you are, imagine... you know, a Welsh weirdo in Bangkok. Just...
But I imagine, like, if I'm watching, for example, like an Indian content creator talking about how hard it is to be vegan in India because of ghee and stuff like this, I'm not going to know what they're on about. And I'm not going to, like, I'll watch it maybe, you know, maybe it's entertaining, but I'm not going to, like, identify with somebody whose life they're living is so different from my own.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like, there have been some conversations, like, there was a guy who came into my server. And he was, it turned out he was like a Muslim, but like very, he believed in like Islam and everything, and he, to the point where when he found out people were gay, he started getting like really annoyed. So, you know, very religious. And I thought, you know what, we're like two completely different people. I think a lot about me probably offends you. And, you know, like, after what you've been saying, a lot of what you are doing offends me as well. Like, so I don't know if it was like he was memeing or whatever, but I thought, you know what, if you actually are someone who believes these things, then it would just be much better if I sent him a link to, like, Muslim vegans and stuff, because he was saying that you could not be a Muslim and vegan, that you absolutely couldn't be. And I was like, I'm pretty sure there are Muslim vegans making it work, because he was talking about Eid and you know how you sacrifice, but there are vegan sacrifices you can make, just like in Judaism, sort
of your time and your money and that, things like that, right?
Yeah, you can, like, instead of using the chicken that they use, you can use like a coin or something. So it's like, you know, so I'm thinking I could sit here and tell you could be these things, you could do these things, you could think this way and operate these and still have these beliefs. Or I could just accept that we are just too different, and you're not going to really mesh with me. You're not going to probably respect what I have to say because we're just different people. Like, and sometimes those differences clash too much. Like, my mere existence was offensive to him. So like, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave you to talk to people who will get it better. So,
and that's why it's so good for us to have this community of creators as well, because if you know, an audience member doesn't mesh with you, send them to the next person who's going to be just like you say. Let me ask you this: can't we just meet halfway and let people go vegetarian?
Right, you're twisting my arm, right?
Just yes or no?
No.
Okay.
That's not halfway though. That's not even half. When people say meet halfway, that's not. You're just cutting out one animal product. That's it. It's not even halfway.
So what would halfway be for you? Where can we meet in the middle? What are you happy with?
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be happy with.
Well, it's like no meat, but we also don't wear wool or leather.
Well, the thing is, for me, like, being vegan as it is halfway, because the other things we can't control for. So, like, vegan itself is the halfway. That's the bare minimum that you've got to meet, I'm afraid, or I'm going to get you.
I do see it as the neutral position, being vegan. If you walk past someone who's stabbing a dog and you do nothing, okay, you're not to blame. You're not doing anything wrong, but you could have helped. So you're neutral in that situation, I guess.
And people
could
look
even
at
argue
you
you're
differently,
bad in a
don't
way.
they?
Yeah, absolutely.
People do look at you differently. So, yeah. No, that's the bare minimum. I really don't see, unless you're somewhere where food prices are really different and it's difficult and you're in a family that won't let you. Then
you're on a desert island and the food the pig eats is poisonous to humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
What do you think is the best approach to promote veganism? Should you be promoting Meatless Mondays? Should you be gentle? Should you hold their hand? Should you guilt people?
So I don't think So I think there should be some conviction in what you say. If you say, look, this is the bare minimum. Yeah. I'm expecting people to reach it. People might think you're too extreme, but they will respect your conviction. If you start saying, Meatless Mondays, just a little bit. What you're saying is, I don't actually really care too much about this, and it's okay if you do a little bit. If you think something's wrong, you think it's wrong. You don't think, a little bit of it's fine.
Yeah.
So I think that bit should stay the same. Like, no matter what, this is wrong, unless you absolutely need to do so. Just like, harming a person. Unless I absolutely need to, it's wrong. Yeah. But the way in which you convey that message is where you can have the free reign, the space. And I think, doing it in a kind of silly, light-hearted way is a good way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think in a, just doing it without adding any extra stuff in it. Like, how, that vegan teacher will bring in, world tragedies going on at the time. And, it's just oh, no. It's no, please. But, I don't think Meatless Mondays or anything like that or flexitarianism should be promoted. I think I'm happy to say that if you can't do it immediately, start small, get on with it. But I'm not happy to say, just, Meatless Mondays are fine. I don't want to say those things. I don't want to even mention those things as options. But
this is about abolition.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
This wasn't really a genuine question in a way. I'm abolitionist myself. I don't think it's okay to beat your wife on the weekend.
No, I know. You're a vegan circle jerker, so I know that this is the case for you. It's just you're not being extreme by holding a position and saying that is wrong no matter what. Yeah.
I heard you pretend to like Nooch. So what's the end game here?
I love Nooch. I really like Nooch.
What are you hoping to accomplish with these lies? It's just me and you here.
B12.
Okay. Whatever. We'll just
B12 and cheesy goodness. You're not going to catch me, man.
We'll just move on. It's foul as fuck, mate. Seriously, have you ever smelt fish food?
Yes, and it's nothing like Nooch. You're just making shit
bollocks.
Up. I
you
swear
speak
to God.
Bollocks, mate. Honestly.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you one serious question for a change. What are you working on at the moment? What's the future of your channel and so on?
I'm just gonna keep going with it. I have the desire to just be a vegan content creator and that be my main gig. So I'm just working to prove that I can do it. Do you know what I mean? Providing that content. So yeah, I'm just trying to grow my channel. That's all I'm really trying to do. I just want to make entertaining content. My videos will be shorter for a bit, but heavier edited. Trying to reach out a bit more to other people. That's why I'm reaching out to D'Angelo Wallace, Abe Lays and all that. But yeah, no, I'm just gonna keep going with it until we're allowed back outside. I want to do outreach videos. I'd like to go see like Vegan Pixie Warrior and do some outreach with her and stuff. And but yeah, a mix of everything. Everything vegan. Vegan. I'm vegan, by the way. How about you?
Might just quit. I'm still sort of finding my feet with my channel. I like doing.
He doesn't have feet. No feet.
I need to find it. So I like doing sort of like these educational, sort of investigative things. I'm being very careful not to just cover the same old shit everyone's covered. So a few weeks ago, I released a video about Cadbury's cream eggs. They released an advert where we had this homosexual couple. And sort of the premise was, it seemed like I was having a problem with gay people. I was homophobic, but actually the twist was I was having a problem with the dairy in the cream egg. That you shouldn't really be consuming it. Anyway, off that, I got a comment saying that I should be controversial to get more clicks. And I was like, yeah, but I don't just want to be controversial for the sake of it. Like, maybe that would be the case if I was in it for, like, the money or whatever. And there is no money at the moment. But then I was thinking, well, yeah, but it does get more clicks. So even if, like, you click on my video, it's a bit clickbaity. You're still getting in there to see some vegan content. You might even subscribe or like it enough to check out another video. And the next video you see might be some slaughterhouse footage that I've put up.
Yeah,
so,
true.
It's like a weird backdoor into vegan content. So I think I'm going to play with that for a little while, see how that goes.
I'm jealous because I'm not very good at like looking at things and thinking, oh, how could I make this controversial? Do you know what I mean? Like that takes a certain kind of thinking.
Yeah, you've got to be smart. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be smart. And I just haven't got that. Where can I get my smarts? And my knowledges.
Oily fish.
That's what it is. Yeah. I just need to eat some fish and maybe I can be more controversial.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think controversy is the way to do it. As much as I hate that, because again, that kind of like people won't even click on it and they'll assume something about you. Like it's so annoying how
I was worried about that.
Yeah, but again, you got pros and cons.
I weighed it up, and at the end of the day, I'm not trying to be gangster or anything, but I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me. If I'm pushing a good message.
Yeah, and if they're basing it upon a thumbnail, then they don't have enough of an opinion about you anyway. So it's like, what value is this? Yeah.
But, if 10 people think I'm a cock, but one person goes vegan, I'll take it,
Which is probably the accurate statistic.
It's probably not 10 to 1, it's probably like 100 to 1. All right. So just to wrap up, would you like to plug your stuff in 10 words or less?
10 words or less?
Yeah. So that was 4. 5. Okay, 10 starting from now.
Vegan content for the vegan content deficient. I'd say. Does that work?
Yeah, not bad. It's all right.
How would you? Would you do better? Go on.
Wow! Get your vegan content right here, salads.
So I didn't even say salad.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. Let me try again. I'll just say salads. There we go.
That's enough, actually. Yeah, that pretty much sells it. And where can people go if they want to check you out?
Just look on Vegan Gaze. Just write Vegan Gaze into anything, and you'll probably find me in a little cesspool in the corner.
And what's your phone number?
So it's 01354 001066.
What's
no,
bollocks?
No,
0800
001066. And it will come up with something called like Hastings, but that's just my other surname. So.
That's your maiden name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me on the very first episode, Ellie. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll go back to hating each other after this, but it was nice to put our drama aside for an hour.
Did we? Were we supposed to put it aside? Shit. Okay, cool.